I love booking.com, but that's another story. But I'll turn it over to them. If you would do me a favor and remember two things. One, if you do have questions, like kind of hold them till the end, but please feel free. And number two, always remember to go into the app and rate the session. Okay? Rock and roll.
Bonjour, Paris. My name is Julie. I'm the global head of recruitment from booking.com, and I'm managing a team of 100 plus recruiters.
Hello, world. I'm Vera Dukhanova, Ukrainian temporary protection status holder, working as a finance controller for a very nice little Dutch company called Titan Clean Fuels.
And hi everyone, I'm Roy. I am the founder of Jobs for Humanity, an employment platform to help people from all underrepresented communities find work.
My story begins in February 2022, where, as you all know, the life for many millions of Ukrainians divided for before and after. Even before the war broke out, there were rumors of war, and in February 2022, I kind of having a panic attack, packed my stuff, and went to Spain to visit my sister. My parents refused to join me, and I wasn't fully comprehended what I'm doing, but I just went to what I thought would be a holiday. And a week later, the war broke out. And it's, of course, naturally, my first reaction, I was sick with worry for my parents. And I did anything possible and impossible to get them out of the country in war as the shelling intensified. My divorce, it took quite some time, and escape wasn't easier, as you all follow the news. But a few weeks later, my divorced parents finally cooperated, set aside their differences, and my stepsister drove them from Ukraine, the country in war. And we all united in Spain. In Spain, I was able to take care of them. That was basic first. And but time of the May, I didn't see many opportunities for me in Spain. And I thought I'll move on to the country familiar for me from my studies, to the Netherlands. And I move on to stay with my friends. And then the first question was, I needed to establish my life. In a new country, no nothing, where do I start? And then the first challenge that I was facing. Housing. If you know, probably the Netherlands is one of the toughest markets there is in terms of housing. I still was on my old job, my Ukrainian job, it was another job to find a house. I was maybe hundreds of applications, lots of rejections. My documents were not going through, lots of suspicion, as I thought, because you cannot really think clear what is going on, what is happening behind the scene. Finally, 3 months later, I got a key from my little lovely studio in actually this building. Then the next challenge. My job search, my Ukrainian salary was barely enough to afford to make my both ends meet. So new challenge was for me is a job. What I discovered that I used to be successful in my career back in Ukraine, but it turned out that my skills and my abilities were not really transferable to the Dutch context. There was language barrier, obviously. My Dutch is still way needs to be improved. It was great, first reaction, yes, you have a nice CV, but it's not really what we need. That was my response, and I just That's what I'm facing. I was flooding employers with my CVs and barely had any response. Often, quite 60% of the cases I get, thank you for your application CV, but mostly nobody returned back to me.
Meanwhile, I had started, forgetting about me, let's talk about the world a bit more. There are more than 8 billion people worldwide. The global unemployment rate is about 6%. There are over 110 million refugees worldwide. If we add over the last just 12 months, add 3 to that count, so it's a very fluid number at all times. Half of them are unemployed. More than 150 million people face prison, trying to get a job, really hard to, 2/3 are unemployed. More than 160 million military veterans, double the unemployment rate of the world. More than 300 million people who are either blind or have low vision. Think about that, 300 million. 70% unemployed. 430 million people who are deaf, 50% unemployed. Almost 500 million single parents. Crazy stat that 1 in 13 young girls above the age of 18 will find themselves with a child, partner, and the other partner is checked out and having to support everyone with a single income. More than 500 million of the LGBTQIA plus community. More than 1 billion people are neurodivergent, with almost 4 times the unemployment rate globally, and more than 1 billion people are baby boomers with a higher unemployment rate. That's billions of people worldwide. And when we talk about talent shortage sometimes, that's a lot of people who are really getting, the talent is extraordinary there. We're not even diving into the incredible, we're just showing one example of a person here who has broken the barriers. So what we've done 4 years ago is started an initiative called Jobs for Humanity, and this is how we met Vera and Jolie through it. Job sites for each underrepresented community. So jobs for the neurodivergent, jobs for refugees, so www.blind.jobs, leader.jobs, single moms, for each one of these communities, and one catch-all for everyone who doesn't fit within one of these communities so that they can always feel welcome. What we didn't realize is that we'd have 700,000 job seekers sign up, apply to jobs through the platform from every corner of the world and from all of these fields of work. And now the question becomes, how on earth do you support everyone? How do you do that? And so this is where, this is how Vera and I, she had applied to one of the jobs, and so I reached out to Jolie. And once I called Jolie.
Yes, he called me. And as you heard, we had a team, we had a really big war in Ukraine. My team felt the desire to help. So Booking gave all our employees 2 days of volunteering per day. So we sat down with the team and said, hey, how can we support Ukraine? So what we did, we called Roy and we said, hey Roy, we know your platforms, can you make a program for us just for Ukraine so that we can start and support Ukraine? We want to use our skills and our volunteering hours really well so that we can make an impact. And we have the capabilities to coach people because that's our job. We help people to find jobs. So we came together and then Roy made a special program for us, an 8-hour training program only for Booking, and we started with our recruitment team first. So to tell a little bit more about the story, I will use these 3 personas. One, that's me. The other one is the job seeker Yuri, and the other one is Roy. So, me as a recruiter, I had 16 volunteering hours, and I didn't know how to use them really well. And then we had Yuri. He wanted to apply for a lot of jobs, but never got the opportunity to get invited for an interview. And then we had Roy. He had a fantastic platform, but didn't know how to scale his coaching practice. So, what did we do? Roy made a really nice program for us for 8 hours volunteering, and we had all recruiters sign up with 2 employees, 2 job seekers. So first of all, they started with doing a 1.5-hour training course to learn all about diversity and inclusion and how to coach. And they got to know Job for Humanity and got an introduction with 2 job seekers. So what did they do then afterwards? They set up 4 calls. The first one is to get to know the job seeker and provide them with feedback about their resume. After that, they did some introductions. They gave feedback on the renewed resumes and introduced these job seekers to their market and to anybody they knew and how to support them. The third call, we followed up about how it is going, did we have any invites for interviews, and connected them with the right people. It could be agencies, could be people within booking, could be jobs without outside booking. And then the fourth one, really important one, we help them coaching and going through the interviews, prep them, practice with them a lot. And then after that, of course, we hoped to close it down with a job. And if they didn't have a job, we still were celebrating all the new skills they learned. So what was the impact of this first cohort? We supported 42 job seekers and coached in total them for 252 hours. We secured 22 interviews, and 10 people got the job, at least. Maybe a few more, but we don't know that. Also for the colleagues, we had 21 recruiters who joined this program, and we secured 186 volunteering hours for that. So, as a leader, you have to also make an impact. So I also joined the program because I thought, hey, this would be good for myself as well to see how I can support. I was honored to support 2 people, Mariana and Yuri. Really fantastic people, but I will tell about Yuri. My experience with Yuri also went out of the country because of the war, and he moved with his family to Germany. For him it was not so difficult to get an interview, but really to pass through the interview. He was never lucky with that. So what did we do? First of all, I helped him rebuilding his resume. Then after that, we were looking for jobs. So I made sure he got an interview at Booking. He was a product manager, but also outside. He didn't want to move outside Germany for that moment. So unfortunately, our jobs were only in Amsterdam. But we were coaching him, was coaching him, and practiced a lot on his interview skills, because that was where he really had some challenges with. He didn't know how to impress any of the interviewers, and therefore never passed through. After some training and some coaching, and we also gave him some lessons and also online courses for interviewing, he was really lucky. The first job he finally got on that interview, he got the job. So well done there. But for me, what was my learning in this? For me, it was also a big learning. First of all, I did understand much more about the war and what kind of impact this has on people there. And second of all, of course, I got to know these really nice people. And more important, we helped them to a job. And last but not least, I was also really happy that I used my skills really wisely, and I feel really grateful to be helping them with jobs. So, how did the people respond with this experience? Me, I was happy. I had a great experience where I not only coached somebody to a job, but also really made an impact and used my skills. Yuri, he was really happy because he finally got the job of his dreams and now could make a better life for his family. And then of course Roy, he was really happy because we finally made a scalable solution.
And let me share what program gave me. My problem that I was almost never invited for interviews. But when I was invited, usually it was some feedback and response. So what program, I completely redone my CV. I put my eligibility to work in the Netherlands up front, as it was not self-evident to me at all that recruiters actually don't read any further if they see that somebody is not clearly eligible. I completely redone my CV to make it more selling. Instead of listing all what I've done in the past, I put out measurable indicators and achievements, and make it more selling than prescriptive. I really removed my personal data, like my address, because what I also didn't know that the scanners, the CV scanners just don't delete all the CVs that do not make this personally data protection criteria. And I learned to customize my CV and tailor it for every job I apply. Also, program helped me to prepare me for the interview, to be confident, calm, to be true to myself, to present my skills and abilities in the best manner, and to handle the difficult question with ease and actually prepare to the particular types of interview. And stay connected, build rapport, follow up the process with the recruiters. And it's turned out that actually I received a much better response rate to my applications, and that led to interviewing companies like European Public Health Foundation, the Impact Institute, and finally I settled my current job in Titan Clean Fuels. And just as I settled a job, it helped me to rebuild foundation that I thought I lost. Now I look in with confidence in the future, and gives my, of course, more financial security, predictability, and foundation for further career advancement. That's actually me and my sweet boyfriend at his day in the Netherlands.
So, after this first cohort, which was really successful for my team, we now have expanded it. The good thing is we did now not only expand it to my recruitment team, but there were also engineering teams, marketing teams. They all wanted to help. They heard about the program and thought, hey, can we support as well? So now we scaled the program, and almost 200 employees had signed up and coached people to a job. And therefore 396 people from different communities, because we now expanded it. Besides Ukraine, we also put refugees, all single parents, blind, so we really scaled it also there. So what were the results there? We did a survey lately, and 196 people responded to that. Out of that, 50 people got hired, 100 got interviewed, and more than 300 went into the program.
So the impact of this has gone quite wide, because people who landed interviews and jobs landed them at all of these companies. Now they don't know that they are recipients of the training from the program from Booking.com, and this is quantifiable, thank you to Booking, to have that social impact, to be able to get to land jobs at all of these organizations and more. And so this makes a humongous impact. And one of the main learnings that I took is that as you expand it from refugees to the blind and low vision, to the deaf and hard of hearing, there are barriers to entry. For one, no single refugee has ever grown up and said, I'm going to become a refugee one day. It just happens, it comes to them, and that it's a label that they want to get out of. Someone's like, I'm going to lose my sight. Or I'm going to end up in a rough marriage, or have a parent, have a child without mom or dad. So these are, the harder part is not, in its huge numbers, is not being in that community and accessing jobs. The harder part is on the recruiter's side, it's on our side. We did not, for the most part, have the training to know how to read a resume that doesn't look like a one-pager, or how to interview someone when they are speaking with a second language in the language that they just learned, and then the biases come in. Or just raise of hands, how many of you have ever interviewed a blind person? Very few, exactly. And so that training here, and so there's that friction. Because I don't know a few things. I don't know how, if they can use the softwares I use, my ATS, my HR system, my client support tool. I don't know if they can access my